Good morning, and thanks for joining us here at vNext this year. I'm super excited to have a panel of women in the Microsoft ecosystem, and today we're going to be talking about M365 specifically, how we got there, what we do, what's exciting, what's coming up, and maybe how you can do better things in M365 yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves. And to start with that, I want everybody to share a brief introduction, who you are, what you do, and a little overview of your career path and how you became involved with the M365 ecosystem. So I'll start, and then I'll hand it around the table. So my name is Sharon Weaver, and I've been in technology getting paid full-time for almost 30 years. And I started in development, web design, web development, turned into database stuff, then it turned into SharePoint, and then this thing came around that was M365. Used to be Office 365, and now I live in the M365 ecosystem. I own a company, we do consulting, we help people implement anything in the M365 ecosystem. I absolutely love it.
All right, I'll go next. My name is Joy Apple. I am the Director of Success for Orchestra Software. I fell into IT accidentally. I think many of us did. I was in the financial industry, asked to help copy edit this little book that ended up being published by Microsoft Press for Microsoft Office SharePoint Server 2007. So it's been a minute. I've been in this space for going on 16 years dedicated to Microsoft products and technologies. I've watched the evolution of SharePoint since those MOS days and have seen it really grow and become the center of the M365 ecosystem. But just getting to watch that evolution, see the technology grow and improve, it's just amazing. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. I'm so glad I'm an accidental IT pro.
Hello, I'm Traci Herr. I am a senior escalation engineer at Microsoft, and I work mostly on Teams voice and Teams devices, and I specialize in that field. I came into IT and M365 because I worked with everything on-prem before the cloud existed. And then BPOS came around, and I was like, what's that? And what's Azure? And I don't understand. I work on-prem. And then things came full circle. I was focused so much on Skype for Business, I left the cloud alone until Link Online came around. And then I was all in. Link Online, and then Teams, actually Skype Online, then Teams. And that's been my path.
Hey, my name is Laurie Pottmeyer. I am a senior product manager within the customer advocacy group at Microsoft. And this is my 20th year at Microsoft. I fell into IT. I started doing events for a little product called Live Meeting, where we produced live virtual events online. And that took my career into a series of roles where I helped customers with user adoption, transitioning from one technology to the next, all within the engineering group working with unified communications. So I'm happy to be here now working in a role where I work closely with our MVP community and work with all the M365 products.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Hi, everyone. I'm Karuana Gatimu, and I run the M365 Customer Advocacy Group, and we do great stuff with M365 and, of course, Copilot. You know, tech was my day job. I didn't intend to be here at all. I was a dancer in LA, and I was working in a law firm, and they got computers, and I ended up being the one to figure out what to do with them, with the help from the woman who was already working there. And I really liked them. It was fun. I feel like, computers helped me solve people's problems, and I like organization. And so, I just kind of went from there. And yeah, database management, MOS. I think I had that book, Joy. I'm very sure I had that book on MOS 2007 and all of that. So, been in the ecosystem a long time doing different stuff. And now my history as a business solution architect really helps me help partners and customers and people really onboard and get the most out of Microsoft 365. And I just enjoy it. It's a big job of being of service, and it's just so much fun. So, but it was not intentional. The family business is theater, and so, but now I've gotten to merge those two things together a little bit, running, Coffee in the Cloud and the shows we stream, Mondays at Microsoft, and all of that we do, and producing events. And so it's kind of like the best of both worlds at this point.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad to have all of you guys here. And I said this was going to be about M365. So in the interest of time, I'm going to combine a couple of questions. And what I want to talk about next is when we think about M365, what are some of the things that it does that transformed the way that you work day to day? So when you think about Microsoft 365, what are some of the ways that it's transformed your daily work? And where do you see the future of M365 going over the next 5 years in terms of how it impacts what people do day to day in their jobs?
That's a fantastic question.
Okay, I'll go first on this one. I have been very fortunate in my career path to be able to be one of those work from home people, BC, before COVID. And it's the online technology that has enabled that for so many people. That is a game changer in and of itself. But what is so interesting, and I think it's our responsibility to make sure we do this in a healthy way, but I can manage my day in such a way that if I need to do something with a parent or somebody, I can do that and then still stay online, still be available for my team. I can take a call sitting in a waiting room at 3:30 in the afternoon, when 10 years ago that flexibility wouldn't have been there. And I think that's a truly amazing thing. But again, I've also been called out by my spouse for being on Teams when going on a drive through the Rocky Mountains. So we have to use that power, that availability very responsibly and in a healthy way. But I think that has really revolutionized what work looks like for so many people. I can work on my terms more than I think anyone's been able to in ever.
Yeah, there is a level of flexibility that we get by having the tools readily available to us, but using them responsibly for our personal lives so we have some sort of work-life balance, because it is easy to just always stay connected and have your phone. I mean, I remember the days where we didn't even have cell phones, and I thought that was crazy that people would carry around this little computer in their pocket and always be available. And now, we can't live without our cell phones, and tying work to that and making yourself available can be at times difficult for your personal life. So disconnecting is definitely important. But I will say that, like you, I've had the same opportunities to have a very flexible schedule, because I can stay connected when I need to stay connected, or take a call from wherever I need to take a call. I during COVID built a office in my backyard, and so that's my way to disconnect if I need to, at nighttime. But I think that our tools have made it very, very easy to improve our collaboration and make our jobs easier, which enables us to do more. And I see that, with Copilot coming up, and just the intelligent recap in Teams, and some of the features that we have available to us just enables us to be more efficient and to do more on a daily basis, that in a shorter amount of time, to hopefully give us some better work-life balance.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that flexibility, and you're right, it's definitely a superpower to use with caution. I actually think that every single thing about the daily life in Microsoft 365 is going to change over the next 3 years. I think that what we know today as Microsoft 365 is going to be vastly different very shortly because of generative AI and Copilot. And I think that for me, it's about identifying what is the unique value that I bring to the table, because I'll be able to have Copilot generate my project plans, answer questions to people. I get a lot of questions. Hey, Karuana, how should I do this? Or what about that? Or can I have content on adoption@microsoft.com? Or my chat is full of that stuff. But if I had an agent that was grounded in documents and knowledge that I put together where people could interact with that and get their answers, first off, they wouldn't be waiting for me. Because I unfortunately make people wait sometimes because I just can't keep up with the email and the chats and the questions. So that's a bummer. It's not good customer service, right? But also, I don't really need to do that, right? That's not the best use of my time, right? And so I feel like when I can have the agent make the project plan, when I can have the agent answer all of those questions, when it can draft documents of user enablement materials for new products, and then I can, zhuzh them, make them pretty, make them better, all those things are going to change. And the other thing is all the time that I spend looking for a document right now because I don't know which site or OneDrive folder, whatever somebody put it in.
You've seen it. You've seen it.
I know I've seen it. I know it's out there. It's definitely there. I just need to, that time you spend finding. Copilot is about understanding. It does the finding and the interpreting and the summarizing for you, whether it's an issue about a customer outage or it's an issue about some new sales program or whatever. I don't have to spend that time doing that. So, I always thought that SharePoint was the best thing in the universe. When I realized I was like, oh my goodness, this is a website on top of a database and I can configure it. I thought it was magic, right? And now it's getting like supercharged with this AI capability. I'm really excited. And of course, we're going to talk about all of that at the Microsoft 365 conference in Orlando that's coming up. Very exciting. And there's so much about being AI ready that is a human activity, right? And so the features are great. Got to get the people ready.
Yeah, speaking of human activities, I think, the only thing that I would say about the thing that's changed the most in my life with M365 and really kind of some of the stuff I think about changing in the future is before COVID, I too was a remote worker for several years of that before COVID. I was scared to death to be on camera. That was huge for me. I mean, even on FaceTime, it made me really nervous. And when Teams came out and it had this ability to be on camera, I was like, okay, I'm gonna embrace it. I'm gonna be on camera, because I had to teach people how to use it.
Right.
And so I had to show them what it looked like. And I wanted to also be able to meet people. And the problem was we weren't meeting in person. And so before I could be on a call and then I could go have lunch with you, or I could be on a call and I could meet you at a conference, that stopped. And so I didn't get to see anybody. So I'm like, okay, I want to see people, and if I want to see people, then I need to be seen as well. And I know this sounds silly, but it took me a while to really warm up to this being on camera thing, and it's huge. I still run into this with my clients. I still run into this with my coworkers. People are still nervous to be on camera. And so that changed the dynamic of my relationships because I started being on camera a lot, and I started scheduling time. Joy and I did this. To just have a happy hour on a Friday afternoon with my friends in a way that I couldn't do ordinarily. Now, you don't think this is a big deal, except for I have friends all over the world. I didn't have to wait to fly to somewhere to see my friends. So, I mean, I think, from a personal perspective, from a human perspective, M365 changed my relationships. It gave me the ability to connect with people in a way that I had never had before.
To have the water cooler conversations,
Absolutely.
just the casual conversations that you would have if you were in an office.
Exactly.
But now being at home, right?
Yes, exactly. Laurie and I, we both
that's
did
a-
it too, right?
That's
and so
a
it was this
huge piece.
fantastic to meet
And just
people.
being able to now I'll even have lunch with somebody and my salad at my desk and somebody else is eating the salad at their desk, but we're on camera and we're having a conversation because you're not self-conscious when you're eating that salad if you're actually having lunch.
Right.
So why are you self-conscious eating that salad when you're on the camera? Like some people are like, oh, I'm turning my camera off because I'm eating. If we were all at a dinner table, nobody's freaked out about it, right? So, it's interesting. The camera brings out some fears that people have that are interesting to me, yeah.
And it's interesting too. So to echo what you said, when COVID hit, I had to go cancel all my trips. And I actually cried to the guy at Delta who thought I was a lunatic because I was sad I was canceling work trips. But that travel kept me sane in a work from home job.
Yes.
Right? COVID hit, trips got canceled, my camera came on. I got ready for work every day, and that camera came on. that can bring a strain and a stress too. It's like I have some folks I work with, and every once in a while, one of my coworkers, she's like, "I'm sorry, I'm just not going to turn my camera on today." I was like, "That's fine. You're working from your home. Every day's not 100% day. Some days you're just not feeling it. So you don't need to apologize for that." Karuana, I like how you say it's a no apology zone. You don't have to apologize that you don't want your home on camera, yourself on camera today. But the dynamic that it brings to be able to have the body language and to see the other person's facial expressions,
Yes.
I do love that. And that has brought a lot of humanity into conference calls, and it's much more dynamic. And now you get to meet people's pets. I had a customer once whose little girl came with her stuffed giraffe and got in her daddy's lap because it was bedtime in Ireland.
Right.
He's
Exactly.
like, "I'm so sorry." It's like, why would you ever be sorry for
Why would you ever apologize for that beautiful
ever.
moment? Yeah. Thank
It's
you for
just
letting me share it,
wonderful.
right?
Exactly.
It's funny. I think that, before COVID, I worked from home before COVID. And then when COVID happened, everybody that had been in the office was now working from home. And they, like you, got up and got ready like they were going to the office. I was like, no, that's not how it works. You don't have to do that. You're home. I call it gradual casual. You're like up here, put together, and who knows what's happening down
Give me
there,
my
you
kitty
know?
cat pants
Yeah,
down
you
there
got
with my
Right.
slippers.
Christmas PJs, whatever.
But I do get, for the first few months of COVID when I was at home, of course, we were all working so very hard in Teams engineering. I actually didn't come out of that room for very much time at all,
true.
like 17-hour days and
3 a.m. chats.
a lot of people crying, a lot of like psychological counseling we were giving. It was very, very incredibly stressful, and the longer it went on, actually the worse it got. But after that first part, then I realized I needed to get up and at least get ready from the waist up
Yes.
Yeah.
for routine, and because I was depressed. I was really depressed, not only with what was going on in the world, but just like I just looked terrible every day. And it occurred to me, maybe my husband would like to see the lady that he used to be married to, who got up and got all foofy every day. And instead of this kind of disheveled, like, oh, I'm wearing this sweatshirt for like 3 days. Like, I probably need to make a change here. So it was psychological for me. But I still do the, waist up, bottom is like a golf skirt or my sweats or something, and I'm super happy with that.
100%. 100%. Soft focus on Teams.
Oh, I love soft focus.
you.
Thank you. Isn't that an amazing
Oh,
thing?
it's so nice.
Wonderful.
And I just think so when I think about what's coming, I always think about what's coming, what's next, what's innovative, what's exciting. And, we like to talk about things in terms of work, right? Things in terms of I can click this button and I can do this thing and it's going to do things faster, and that's all great. But when I think about like how people are going to work over the next 5 to 10 years, to your point, Karuana, like talked about everything's going to change. Everything's always changing. And we think about what's happened from then till now. Before, conference calls were one way. Conference calls are very different now. We see a mix. We see a mix of some people on camera, some people not on camera, some people in avatars, right? Some people with just a photo. We see this really nice mix of people. And what's really nice, I think people are starting to figure out who they are remotely, who they are online, who they are in this kind of global remote scenario. And I think some people are better in person. I think some people are better remote. I think some people enjoy different mixed models. And when I think about the way people are going to work going forward, this is something I've been championing for so long. And from a women's perspective, I mean, I will stand on my soapbox. I believe that we have the right to be able to work in a flexible way. What is best for us? If I need to take care of my child, if I need to take care of a parent, if I need to take care of a pet, if I just literally am just not a people person, like whatever it is, I think that it's going to give us an opportunity to embrace the way people work, the way they need to work, and meet them where they're at. And the technology is going to solve a lot of that. So I'm excited about that part of it.
I agree. And, being able to represent yourself in a way that you feel comfortable with. You're the curator of your online presence. So whether you have your camera on or you choose to build an avatar or you get a picture made, whatever it is. And there's some people who choose to not even put their picture out. They have something other than that. Frankly, drives me a little crazy because I like people. But it's up to them, right? It's up to them how you represent yourself online. And I remember I didn't quite understand avatars. outside of gaming, right? Until I was able to build one in mesh that actually looked like me. Right? It had a purple leather jacket and she had on braids and I could make my hair the colors that it is and and I felt represented, right? And that made a huge difference for me to feel good in the metaverse and to feel good about using it. I don't use it all the time because I actually like people to see me. I like to connect to people, but it's super helpful to have it on those days where I don't feel so much myself, and I didn't even make it to like change the sweatshirt, right? And so I'm like, okay, you're gonna get like Avatar Karuana today because the real one needs a break because camera fatigue is a real thing, and I actually believe it's worse for women than it is, and maybe it's not women, maybe it's introverts, versus extroverts. I don't know how the dynamic goes, but some people, the camera fatigue is a real thing, which is why I say never apologize. Just turn it on or turn it off, do whatever.
Especially, I think, modern work, and this has gone way beyond, I think, where your question was, but if we were getting up every day and going to an office and working from 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever, we would not have 7, 8, sometimes 12 meetings back to 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 back. We would never do it. Would be logistically impossible.
Correct.
You can't even have one meeting without somebody else opening the door going, "Are you done yet? Can you please get out of the conference room?" Right? But now, and my husband pointed out to me the other day, he's like, if you were going into an office, you would actually have breaks where you could eat lunch or go to the restroom or maybe get up and take a short walk around a building, and you don't do that for yourself. And I come out of my office on some of those meeting-packed days and I am like probably one of the ultimate extroverts. And I'm tired and I don't want to talk. And thank you so much, dear, for making dinner. He's an amazing husband. I just want to go sit down and deflate for a little while because that fatigue is there. And it's been so camera, and you feel like you got to fit in this little box. I'm kind of over that now. I'll swivel in my chair. If I'm standing up, I'm kind of rocking back and forth. Because staring at that screen for 8 to 10 to 12 hours straight gets a little exhausting. But again, I think we're still trying to find our correct balance in the flexibility that we have to set our boundaries, to own our calendars, and to understand, I can't squeeze that meeting in today. You will need to wait, but you're going to get a better me if you wait another day or two.
So that's why I love the 5-minute late start or 10-minute late start for an hour meeting. Our team does that consistently, and it makes a huge difference just to get up and take a stretch, walk around, grab a snack.
I love that you guys do that, by the way, because I do everything on the hour. And even if you guys scheduled it like 8:10 or 8:15, I put it on the hour. And it's so great because I'm like, oh, I have a call at whatever time. And I sit down, I'm like, oh, it doesn't start till 10 or 15 after.
Yeah.
And it's
psychological and it's on purpose. Yeah. And just stop with the back-to-back meeting days. Just stop it. There's no reason for that anymore. We've been doing this long enough. Just stop it. It is psychologically bad for everyone.
Everyone.
I do some back-to-back segments of my day, right? But even on topics, the thing is the context switching. We have these 25-minute meetings at work, and if I have to switch between contexts 4 or 5 times, even with the break, that's really hard. I really try to not do that. And yeah, I get to eat. I think you said it. Who said it yesterday? We're humans, not machines. And that meeting just isn't that important.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, it was you? Was it you that said that, my dear?
It might have been me.
Okay, so, heal thyself. The reason that I'm good at this is because if I'm bad at it, I will impact my team. My team, I can't preach to my team if I don't do it. If I don't take my time off, if I don't turn off my camera, if I don't apologize, all the things I talk about all the time, I have to do them so other people will do them. Right. So, and we all do. I think we're all leaders in this space about, how we take care of ourselves in modern and remote work. Who else is going to take care of us? Nobody else.
Well, I have been a big complainer about back-to-back meetings. I am guilty as charged of accepting them and attending them. And Karuana has been a huge advocate for saying, don't go to the flipping meeting. Just don't go. there's either somebody else on the team that can cover, and if you're really necessary, like they'll pull you in or they'll update you after. Or we have intelligent recap. Like we can go and we can look at what happened at that meeting and know if there's action items for ourselves and get caught up that way. So the technology, that's what I was saying earlier, the technology really is helping us to be able to have a little bit more of that balance. So I'm trying to live by that.
No, that's
You're
great.
doing a great job because, I mean,
Doing
it's
a great job at not attending meetings.
That is important. Saying no is so important, right? It matters, right?
Yeah.
And plus, it puts a premium value on your time.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I respect your
yeah.
time. You have a unique and valuable perspective. Everybody needs to really appreciate when you do show up. And so everything doesn't need me. It just doesn't. I might want it to for my own ego or something, but guess what? Work happens when I'm not there. And it'll be just fine. It's not neurosurgery, right? So
Nobody's bleeding out, right?
Nobody's bleeding out. No.
So we've got about 10 minutes left. And so for this last topic, I'm going to bring up. I do a ton of work with the Microsoft Learn team, which, by the way, makes me so happy and warms my heart. They have done so much work, and there's so many amazing things out there for skilling. And I know your team has done a ton as well. So I really want us to talk a little bit about if somebody comes to us, and I get this all day long, people come to me, where do I start? What do I learn about? Where do I go? How can I find things? And I send Learn links out like Joy knows. I send Learn links out like nobody's business. Like everyone gets a Learn link for me. If you get on a call and ask a question, you're probably getting a Learn link. So I'm just saying there's all these opportunities out there. What is your advice for people if they come and they're like, I really want to get started with M365. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to start. What would you tell them?
I mean, I'm gonna echo that. There's 3 things I'm gonna say. Learn.microsoft.com. Adoption.microsoft.com, especially if you're trying to get this going or started in your company or trying to get your arms around it. Adoption.microsoft.com. And I say that inside of my company all the time. And then I'm going to tell you, get plugged into the community. Community, community, community. If you're not on social media, look, I get it. I get it. It's crazy pants out there. But you can choose what you follow and what you consume. Choose that wisely. I pretty much am down to only following community people on social media now. I got onto what used to be called Twitter in 2008 because of the SharePoint community. Find them. We're here and we are so ready to grow and to have you be part of our community. So those are my 3 things.
LinkedIn Learning is great too. It's like the evolution of what we used to have for, I can't even remember what it was called, but it was Microsoft's website for learning, and it wasn't the Learn pages, it was something else back then. Now LinkedIn Learning has taken over and it's great.
I would add the Microsoft Tech community. Almost every product within M365 and across Microsoft really has a tech community where you can ask questions and get answers from other community people, Microsoft people. It's also a great place if you are a strong content creator to go and share your content. It's not meant to be a support page, but if you have questions or how-tos or you want to share your experiences, that's a really great place to go also. And it's aka.ms365 M365 community. And so that's a great place for more of a forum type engagement.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this learning space. I think it's so important because it's like foundational to your career, especially in tech with all the changes and what have you. We have some exciting announcements about this at the conference next week, and so I'm biting my tongue because I want to say something about it now. But I think that the whole issue of where do you start with M365 has been out there for quite some time, and with really the engineering accepted best practices. There's a lot of teachers out there, and I'll say that you do have to be mindful about who you're learning from. Not every person is created equal. So look at the credentials of the people who are crafting those classes. Had they ever lived in the real world? Because the book knowledge of Microsoft 365 and the real world application of the skills and actually running a tenant are two different things. So, check that out. Definitely learn, and LinkedIn Learning are great. The other thing I will say is if you go to developer.microsoft.com, you can get your own tenant. And I am a firm believer in hands-on learning. Get your own tenant, then you can get into the admin center. You can see how policies work. You can understand the different areas there, and it's free, right? Now, at the time when I did this, it was like $16 a month or something. I got the premium license, whatever it was I did, but that was my investment in my career. I'm the one who had a SharePoint farm in my apartment, right? So I just built it there so that I could learn. Like, I didn't want to learn in front of a customer how to migrate, those databases or how to restore them or what have you, and deal all the troubleshooting we used to have to do in the on-prem days. So I really think it's important to have your own tenant and practice. Now, obviously, it's different because you don't have the scale of data, but still, at least you'll know where the stuff is in the menu, and then you start to remember. Right? And so that muscle memory for me was always really important. I really don't understand things until I do them. It's just the way I've always learned technology. And my hands-on knowledge of Microsoft 365 has been a huge differentiator in my career. If you think of a lot of managers or people, they haven't actually ever run a tenant. They haven't ever been that IT manager that gets the call when the system is down. And if you don't know that panic, then I'm sorry, you're really not an IT pro, right? Like you're new as an IT pro. You have to have had that VP come into your office and be like, what's happening? Where's my website? That stress, it's very stressful. So you want to know where things are. You want to be able to go right to the health reports and see if there's an announcement from Microsoft. You want to be able to troubleshoot yourself and be able to provide answers. So I'm a big fan of, having your own tenant.
If you've never locked yourself out of something and had to go find a backup to get you back in, Are you really an admin?
Yes, exactly. Did you ever accidentally delete that database that you meant to just move? Teaching you the value of making backups before hitting enter. Yes, see, you're real. I've done it. I have 100% done that. That's how I learned to back up everything before I do anything.
Always make a copy, never edit the original, and it's always DNS.
It's always DNS.
It's always DNS.
It's always DNS, 100%. You're so right.
All right, we've got just a couple minutes left. I definitely want to give you guys just a couple of minutes to promote the M365 conference that's coming up next week. So I'd love for you guys to let us know what we should look forward to, maybe tips and tricks.
Absolutely. Well, the Microsoft 365 conference is near and dear. We are going to have more than 88 Microsoft-led sessions at the show.
Wow.
It is the largest force of Microsoft folks that we've ever brought to a show like that. And it's not just on Copilot and AI, as you might expect. There's also the fundamentals of Teams and what's happening in phone and what's happening in Exchange and what's happening in SharePoint and OneDrive and data and Windows. And so there's a lot that's going to go on there. We have a beautiful slew of executives who are coming to give those keynotes. A great community presence. I'm really proud of the community presence Heather Cook and Laurie and the team have put together. There'll be a community lounge. We have a lightning talk stage that's going to be on the show floor with these 20-minute sessions. Because the other thing about learning and skilling is you want to grow not just your technical capabilities, but your actual, I call them power skills, negotiation, communication, executive presence, stuff like that. So we'll talk about that career development stuff at the show as well. And then I'm giving the closing keynote on business value and user enablement, so that will be fun. I have an AMA, and it's just a great time. I really enjoy it. But I enjoy every show in the community. So I don't have a favorite. I think they're all really important, and it's really about people getting together and having conversations, and what you learn in between the sessions, right, is great. And we will be filming some of the content for the first time ever at this show, so I'm excited about that. And it's a pretty big deal. So looking forward to getting there and spending the week there and then collapsing on a couch somewhere and not talking for a week. That's my plan.
I will add, we have a unique opportunity for people that want to have and participate in small group discussions. We'll have roundtables available in addition to the sessions that are taking place all throughout the day for all 3 days. So that's a great opportunity for people that want to sit down and talk with the product leaders, some of the presenters that are going to be there, and provide feedback in just more of a discussion-based environment. So looking forward to that as well.
Well, I'm super excited. Not only am I excited to attend the conference, and I agree, Karuana, all the conferences are great, so get to something.
Yes.
But I'm most excited because it's in Orlando, and so it's going to be warm and sunny and beautiful, and I believe there's an attendee party that's going to be at one of the parks.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we're really excited to be there next week, and hopefully we'll see some of you guys there. Well, thank you guys all for joining me, and thank you for lending your time and talents to everything that you do in the community. And I think we've got like there's some noise upstairs. There's like 1 or 2 minutes left. But thank you guys all for being here, and have a great rest of the day at Comms vNext.
Thank you. And thank you for putting this together. Really appreciate all the work that you do for the community. You're a great MC and host. As I was telling you before, you do an awesome job, and I really enjoy being on your panels. Thank you so much.
So much.
Yes, thank you.
I want to do a quick shout out too to Eric Marcy.
Oh, yeah.
For being our
Eric.
wonderful
Behind the
technical
He's the
leader
man
for this.
behind the scenes, making it all happen.
Thank you, Eric.
Yay. Thank you so much.